You're listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, where you get valuable information you just can't find anywhere else. To thrive in today's trying times, you need the Financial Survival Network, now more than ever. Go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com and get your free newsletter and gift. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.
And welcome. This is Financial Survival Network. I'm your host, Kerry Lutz. And, well, housing prices, interest rates rising. What does it all mean? Should you have bought already? Is there still time if you could find a place to buy? That is, well, let's talk with our expert, Debbie Bloyd, mortgage broker extraordinaire, and find out what the market's doing. Debbie, great to have you back. So rates, it's March 22nd. Rates went up 25 basis points with lots more on the way, promised, but actions speak louder than words. We'll see if they actually follow through.
Exactly.
What are you seeing in the market?
Well, Kerry, thanks so much for having me. Yes, the market is shifting. So people are either more determined than ever to find a house, or they're giving up for a while because I think we're evenly split. That a lot of people think this is a bubble, which it's not. We've covered that. But a lot of people just can't find what they want. I think their expectations are a little out of whack from what's available. And so I take their wish lists and then we try to figure out how to bring them down to something manageable, because a lot of people want what they could have bought last year that's no longer available. And the prices last year are gone, and the interest rates last year are gone. So this is the new normal. And I think a lot of people don't do change very well.
You think, huh? You think? Yeah. So, but demand is slackening, mortgage applications down, new home sales down.
Well, but let me explain that. They're only down because people are busy. So it's not that people don't want to buy houses, that they're down. I have got probably 20 people pre-approved to find a house. Now we're just waiting on them to find a house. So has my business slowed down some? Yes, but not for lack of trying. They're not doing it. They're just looking harder than ever. And it's super competitive. So, they have to you're only as good as your agent in a lot of cases. And some of these agents weren't prepared for this and are not cut out for this kind of business, and their clients are suffering.
Yeah. So inventory is still at a premium then. And
yes.
So demand hasn't slackened. It's really a function of supply then, huh?
Yeah. So we have a lot of new neighborhoods that are going in, and they sell 2 houses. That's all they get to release for the month. And then they up them $10,000 and release 2 more houses and up them $10,000. It seems a lot of the new homes are not being able to be moved into right away because they're missing flooring, they're missing toilets, they're missing some everything is missing something. So a lot of the buyers can't even get moved in because they're missing windows and something's on back order. And so it's slow, but it's not for lack of trying.
So supply chain issues are still permeating, huh?
Yes, exactly. So a lot of people have taken, to Facebook Marketplace, trying to find furniture, lighting. Amazon is really big. A lot of builders have gone to Amazon to try and buy things. Home Depot. I'm moving into a new house in May, and I already went and ordered my refrigerator and washer and dryer. And I took what was in stock because I didn't want to wait 8 weeks. So you got to plan ahead or you're going to be stuck. And a lot of people aren't very good planners.
Yeah, that's the truth. So really the demand side is still there, even in light of, or maybe because of, promised interest increases, rate increases in the coming year. And so people are like panicking to buy, basically,
they're
right?
Panicking to buy. And they've got, I have a lender that will let you lock 6 months out. So I'm trying to get everybody to lock now. And then that gives you 6 months or 5 months to find a house. So you lock in today's rates. Not every lender has that, but that's why a lot of people use me or use brokers, is to kind of lock that in. Then the problem is what happens if it runs out and they don't find a house and it just runs out. But at least they're locked into something. We've got some people that have some pretty unrealistic expectations, where you could have made your laundry list of fabulous things that you want in your house 2 years ago. Aren't that many choices now. So you can't be that picky.
So you have to lower your standards. So you're going to get less house for more money and higher monthly payments, right?
Exactly. Well, and a lot of people were not able to buy a couple of years ago because that wasn't even a thing then. So, this pandemic did change the way a lot of people live and work. And I know we've covered that every time we've talked, that people are still moving around the country. They're moving because they want to be closer to their family, or they're moving to places that they like. And if they can work anywhere, now the sky's the limit. So we got a lot of people moving around the country that wasn't even a thought 2 years ago.
Yeah, and a lot of people leaving jobs for other jobs, right? Because a lot
of people getting married, getting divorced. Pandemic did a number. You either got married, got divorced, or you got pregnant. And so we've got a lot of new little families trying to find houses, and it's hard.
And not necessarily in that order, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I talked to a lot of millennials that are engaged, and they're buying their house before they have the wedding or anything else. So housing is at the forefront of everybody's mind.
Before they even have a kid, they're buying a house, huh?
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
So what about rates? What are we looking at for 30-year fixed?
Right now, they're like 4.25%, 4.5%, depending on credit. Investment properties are up closer to 5%. So if you're an investor, you're going to be paying a lot more than you were. We're seeing about 3 hikes this year, at least. So I know the Fed just came out and said maybe 7 to 9. But when they say that, they know that the market is just going to arbitrarily kick it up 1/8 of a point without them having to do anything. So I think it will be at easily mid 5s, if not high 5s, by the end of the year.
And those rates aren't historically that high, but housing prices are so much higher that it's cutting down on affordability.
Right. People are having to take less square footage. And so the days of I want a 5-bedroom, 2-story for under 500, those days are gone unless you're living way out in the middle of nowhere. And, some people like that. So people are just, the new home builders are moving out, at least in Dallas, right to the outskirts. They're going above and beyond what town is now and building communities with affordable housing. People are just having to drive further.
What's happening with real estate taxes? Because as prices go up, sales take place, the tax rate on a home gets adjusted upward.
Sure.
What are you seeing with taxes? How's that?
We haven't seen a whole lot of it yet, just because the counties and the cities are a little bit behind on that. So if you live in a house and it's not a new house, you're going to see a smaller increase, I think. A lot of people, that first year you build a house, the taxing authority still has you as dirt. They don't know that a house is there. So some people are using that to their advantage for a few months, but it's all going to catch up. So you better save your money. Taxes will be going up, and then insurance rates go up. So staying a renter just is not a good idea, because rent's going up as well. Even those guys are jacking up the rent, supply and demand. So when there's more demand, you get to choose a higher price. So even apartment complexes are choosing higher prices now more than ever. So you can really afford to buy if you rent, because the rents are almost the same as the house payments now.
Yeah. Well, rentals, we know. What about investor cash deals? They still prevalent?
Don't just survive, thrive. The Financial Survival Network.
Osino Resources is a Ross Beatty-backed gold exploration company in mining-friendly Namibia. Osino's district-scale land package is situated near 2 producing gold mines, one of which Osino's management team previously developed and sold to B2 Gold. Osino's founders and management are experienced mining professionals who have already successfully developed and sold 2 companies in the past 7 years. Osino has an excellent shareholder base, with Ross Beatty owning 20%, insiders 5%, and Resource Capital Funds 8%. This is an exploration company with drills turning that you'll definitely want to pay attention to. Osino trades in New York under the ticker OSIIF and in Toronto under the ticker OSI. To learn more, go to osinoresources.com. That's osinoresources.com.
This is the Financial Survival Network, the information you need to thrive now more than ever.
Yes, and in the lower price ranges, I have a lady that's been she's a veteran, and she's in the $200 to $250 price range. Pretty low for houses here in Dallas. That she's kind of sectioned off to one side of the city, and almost every deal that we put an offer in for, she's being beat out by investors with cash. So you have to. One lady said, "I just want to find a house that no one else wants, and I'll buy that." But what's happening is a lot of agents, they're going door to door now, knocking on neighborhoods saying, "We've got people to buy houses. Are you in the market to sell?" Because you can get top dollar right now. So we're finding pocket listings, off market listings, and they're going fast. So you've got to be creative if you're an agent.
Yeah, you got to be creative. I mean, I get things every day, multiple things. We got a cash buyer for your house. And I've seen in my neighborhood in Florida, just last month, Debbie, prices went up over 10%.
It's crazy. Now, you could sell your house and make a killing, but where are you going to go?
I know you got an extra room for me there?
Yeah, that's just it. A lot of people would love to cash out at the top of the market, but they don't. They may have kids in school still. They need to be in that school district. Where are they going to move to? So it's perfect if you want to downsize or upsize to sell your house and do something different. But just to sell, nobody's doing that. So they've got to have a good reason.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I could make all this money and then pay some taxes too.
Right.
And then what? I don't want to rent again. In Miami here, I'm not in Miami, but rents are up 50% throughout Florida.
Oh, sure. Everybody wants to move there. Right. And so you can 1031 exchange, and a lot of people are doing exchanges, but you've got to exchange it into something. So where are you going to go? Yeah.
Good question. Well, I think they should put up a sign here in Florida and Texas like they have in New York, where it says, "Welcome to New York, now leave."
Yes. Well, we have people moving in from everywhere, and our state looks like a bargain still, like Florida does for a lot of people. It depends on where you come from. But, prices are high here, but they're even higher up on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah.
Northwest.
On the West
Coast. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, what's funny is there's a place in Florida called the Villages, which is like the largest over 55 community retirement community in the world. It was over 100. I think there was 125,000 people there the last I heard, and it was the fastest growing city in the country. Now, what's amazing is, and this is not even including the outskirts of it, where they're building on, even though they're not part of the Villages, but close to it.
Right.
They are building houses so quickly. They can't literally pour the concrete fast enough. Every single one is selling. Those have doubled in price over the past year. We get into resistance, though, where prices really can't go much higher.
No, I think, it depends on demand. I think people will keep paying. I was in a neighborhood outside of Fort Worth, and I was helping a client look for a house, any house. And we were scouring the neighborhood with flyers saying, "We will buy your house if you want to move," because there were 30 houses in the middle of being constructed, but nothing to move in today. And they need to move in by June. So, my idea is you can buy a new build construction. One of the neighbors goes, "It's just an auction." Basically, it goes to the highest bidder, and that's what it is. So when we run out of money, the prices will have to come down. But there's a lot of people sitting on a lot of cash, that got out of the market, or they don't want to rent, and they've just I do a lot of reverse mortgages. You can buy over the age of 62 with a reverse mortgage and pay a fraction of what you would if you paid cash. So I have a lot of clients doing that. It's just a way to reorganize your money.
So with a reverse, even if you have an existing mortgage, if you've got enough equity, you can do a reverse?
Yeah. So if you're over 62 and you have at least 50% equity, you can do a reverse. You'll never make any payments on that house anymore. You will just pay taxes and insurance. So when I get to be 62, I've got a few years to go yet, but when I get 62, I'll get one.
You got a long way to go, Deb.
No, I wish, but I will get one too, because like I had a client cashed out of $1 million home in Austin. He wanted to buy a $400,000 home and he was going to pay cash. But after he got done talking to me, he was able to do a reverse purchase for 185, took that extra money and invested it in the market to get to work for him. And so he was like, it's like I got a half priced house. He's in a brand new 1-story, $400,000 house for the low price of 185. Can't beat it.
What about these sale leasebacks? Do you have any experience with them?
Yeah, there's a lot of leasebacks going on right now. So you can sell your house, and I've seen leasebacks up to 6 months to get kids out of school, but people are selling their houses early. So leasebacks are a real big deal.
What about these companies that specialize in it? They're investors. So they buy your house, they cash you out, and then you supposedly rent it at a market rate. And,
right.
Hey, if the market crashes, then you can buy your house back from them for 50% and you got your cash, right?
Exactly. There's a lot of people that are not prepared financially for what's coming. So I've always said, and I replayed one of my interviews the other day, everything I said would happen back in November has happened. Interest rates have gone up. Inflation is going up. We're going to see the biggest thing that I talked on TD Ameritrade with last week was, what are we going to do for stocks and what are long-term holdings looking like for a lot of these luxury brands? And luxury to you and me may be two different things. Sure. So, I'm not buying Chanel and Vuitton and some Tory Burch, but other people are, and that's normal for them. I think we're going to see a lot of people stick to the Targets and the TJ Maxxes where they can have designer labels for less. Does that mean we're going to quit going out to eat? Open Table said last week they have just as many reservations as they've always had, but you don't know what they're spending in those restaurants either.
They're spending more, I can tell you that. And every restaurant in Florida is packed to the gills.
Right.
Rafters. Hey, you might not buy Louis Vuitton and Chanel and all that, but you look like you do, Debbie. So that's the important thing, right?
Exactly. So when you go out to eat, are you spending the big money for the expensive bottles of wine, or are you just buying cheap house stuff? And are you going to start cooking at home if prices get too high? I think you're going to see a big separation between the people that have the financial means and those that don't pretty quick.
Well, there's a city in Florida called Boca Raton, and what we say about Boca is all flash and no cash.
A lot of people are maxed out to the hilt right now. And, the equity, we're seeing a lot of cash out. So why we might not be as busy with purchases with supply issues, we still are taking a lot of cash out of people's homes to pay off that debt with the cash out refinance now that they've made some money with their house after doing absolutely nothing for the last year. So people that are actually doing that still.
Very interesting. Very interesting. And we got supply issues, like you were saying, all over the place. Maybe it's coming to food shortages or food scarcity. And so being prepared is super, super important. Now, one thing I wanted to impress upon you out there is, while rates might be getting up to 4.5%, inflation, arguably, it's going somewhere between 10 and 20%. So you still have real negative interest rates on mortgages. Effectively, you're being subsidized by whomever, the government, I guess it all comes down to the government, to buy a house. You're still going to pay it back in cheaper dollars. Inflation is going to be here for quite a while, barring a systemic collapse. So still buying a home, leveraged asset, where it's going to cost you the same as if you're renting for a similar accommodation, it still makes a lot of sense, doesn't it?
It does. It does. We want to figure out the way that we can get the most bang for our buck, and that's still a purchase, buy and hold.
Yeah, agreed. All right. Well, hey, Debbie, just tell us where we find you to get more information from you.
Well, I've got a couple of places. You can go to moneystrategieswithdebbie.com, and there you're going to see about my shows and things. I've also started coaching people a lot, Kerry, with their finances. So they call me Dollar Diva on the radio. So it's dollardivadebbie.com, and I can help coach them into a better position.
You're the dollar diva. Okay, I like that. You're going to have to legally change your name. All right.
There you go.
Hey, if you've got a question for Debbie, just shoot me an email, kl@kerrylutz.com. And make sure you sign up for your free newsletter at financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Debbie, always a pleasure. We'll talk to you again real soon.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Kerry Lutz's Financial Survival Network, your solution to today's trying times. For the latest, go to financialsurvivalnetwork.com. Financial Survival Network, now more than ever.